Okay, coming off Love Lane, I'm walking down a road called Lebu Chintra. We're starting to move slightly up. You know, as I say, that Love Lane, that's all backpacker dormitories. You know, 20, 30 ringgit average. Private rooms, 80, 90 average. This road, a few more sort of mid-range hotels, about 100, 120 average. You know, again, the best thing about this kind of place is just seeing, you know, the quaint layout of the streets, the interesting architecture, the contrast between here and other places where you may have come from or may be going. You know, that kind of thing is really fascinating. But the reality of it is, in terms of activities, is not a huge amount that you would actually be interested in doing. You know, I am the lonely wanderer and I like to have a lonely wander. So it's kind of interesting for me just to do this. But if you really actually want to do something, I'm not too sure that this is the area for you. Nighttime falls, the backpackers will be out drinking. The action might kick off at that point. Right, noticing a disturbing trend in this area, because it is sort of like backpacker central. There's a lot of travel agencies and things like that. So I'm inquiring in the travel agencies about the cost of travel, funnily enough. And what I'm finding is that most of them are absolute cunts. So fucking disinterested and rude and like unable to answer a question, a simple question, in a polite fashion, you know, and looking at you as though you're fucking bothering them all the time. Like, you know, like coming in to their shop and making travel inquiries is like some kind of burden on them. That's two shops I've just been in, they were exactly the same. Right, not only are they a bit rude, but they are also inept. I'm getting different fucking information from every single one that I go in. Cannot, like that. These lot in here, they were speaking a different language. They were either speaking Cantonese or Minanhua. Well, basically they're from southern China, that means. They're not Malaysian people. The Malaysian people speak Huayu, which is basically Mandarin, Putong Hua, but a bit different, you know. Or they speak Bahasa Malay. Yeah, of course there's other local dialects that they speak, but like everyone in that shop was speaking to each other in like Guangdong Hua or Minnan Hua, something like that. So you know, they're here for business. They're not local people. But anyway, they don't know what they're doing, regardless of where they're from. They don't know what they're doing. Like, they're giving me totally different information from the previous shop. They can't look at this different airline. They're a travel agent. The first one I went in was actually the AirAsia office. That was where the Malaysian girl was very rude and disinterested, which surprised me. As I say, I'm used to it from Chinese people, but with the Malaysian girl, fucking hell, she was the worst of all of them, actually. But it's the ineptitude, is that a real word? Ineptitude that fucks me up. Because I have found better information booking online. You know, look, when searching online, sorry. You know, I'm able to find out better information myself. They're sitting there with a computer. It's their job. They're working on commission. Don't they want to provide a service that people are going to pay them for? They just don't care. So, you know, I would go online and do it, but I've got all this fucking ringgit in my pocket now, like an idiot, and I've got to find a way of spending it, because I'm going to get fucked again if I change that, especially changing it into Indonesian rupiah, like... Anyway, moving away from the backpacker area, moving into the central. Probably going to find some more civilized people around here, and maybe some people, maybe some travel agent that is actually capable of doing their job. Let us hope. As I say, met quite a nice Chinese guy in one of these agencies down here yesterday that gave me free advice on where I can find the budget accommodation without trying to upsell, you know, and get his commission. He just said, just walk down that road, you'll see loads of them. So, I mean, it might sound like a simple request, but a simple thing, but I think that's very nice of a travel agent to take that approach. Oh, and this is the shop now, and this is the gentleman. It's AEG Express Service. So I'm going to go in. I will report back on his aptitude for his job presently. Right, we could be on for that. I mean, again, and maybe it's just a cultural thing. Sometimes you got to accept these cultural things, you know. I walk in, I say hello, no response, eyes down. You know, you get that in a lot of European countries. To be honest, in the UK and like the USA, like, shall we say, white countries, I think we sometimes have like a thing that is like unnecessary level of conviviality, you know. It's like we're please, thank you, yes, or excuse me all the time, and a lot of other nations, they just don't bother doing it because, you know, it's not necessary. You're in a shop, it's like, I want that, I give you that, you give me money, that's transaction complete. There's no need to be polite, and I think that's the attitude that people adopt here. So this guy's kind of like that, and I'm kind of like, but anyway, I asked him, how about direct flight from Penang to Aceh, and the man is actually capable of looking at his computer and summoning up that flight immediately. And he's told me Firefly, and he's told me the price, and he's still very disinterested, and I'm like, yeah, can I book that with you? And he's like, and I say, you don't seem very interested to do it, you know, because it's starting to piss me off a little bit. You know, this is the fourth one now where I've had this attitude. But then again, like, why should they be interested? They're sitting there doing their job. I don't know, it's just fucking nice to be polite, isn't it? That's what I think. Nice to be friendly, you know. That's my approach to meeting strangers, really. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm mad and insane. I certainly am mad and insane, so maybe that's one of the reasons why. Anyway, yeah, he can do it, so he can do his job at least. And when I said that to him about not being interested, he laughed. He said, up to you, just bring your passport. If you want, I do it. And yeah, I said, at least you're the most proficient travel agent that I've met so far. Most of them around here, they're not very good. He also laughed and smiled at that. So sometimes people just take a bit of warming up and you can see their human side. Right, I'm gonna do that. The thing is though, it's so fucking cheap, I'm still not gonna spend all this money. I'm gonna have like all this ringgit left in my pocket and nothing to spend it on. Unless there's a brothel. Sorry. I gotta keep saying that as well. You're gonna think that I'm a insane, racist, sexual pervert by the end of watching these videos, and who's to say you're wrong? But anyway, I'm gonna check out the city centre a little bit. This is Georgetown. Right, here's another nice example of the wonderful diversity of cultures represented in a country such as Malaysia. This one across the road, I presume, is a Hindu temple. You know, obviously I've spoken, you know, about the Malay culture here and the Chinese culture here. Also, there's a massive Indian, Bangladeshi type culture here as well. So they've got it all really, and that will be represented in the food, which is when this you know, this I don't want to sound negative about Malaysia. I've been here fucking less than 24 hours, and I've met travel agents so far, basically. and I'm in, you know, a colonial city populated predominantly by Chinese. So can I really make any comment about Malaysia yet? Do I know anything about Malaysia? Not really, right? And I've seen fuck all. And I'm gonna see fuck all, because actually I'm gonna fly directly out of this city as well. So, you know, don't let me put you off Malaysia. Go east, and I'm sure you're gonna really find out what it's all about, I reckon. Or down south, southeast, cross the river, go to Borneo, yeah, on the island of Kalimantan, which is the Indonesian name, and the small section of Borneo is still Malaysia. Also, you have Brunei on that island as well. I've been to Brunei, and that was cool. Lovely people there. I was only there for a few hours, but wonderful people. You could tell that immediately. They're a devout Muslim in that place as well. Seems to be a bit of a trend actually of the Muslim people being the nicest people, but we'll get back to that hopefully. Now here, transcending all boundaries, the international characters for restaurant. That's an interesting one. That's a drive-through. Looks like it used to be an old pub. Bit like what we have in England, right? A lot of the old pubs converted to McDonald's, you see on roundabouts and things like that, you know? That is something that I'm into, to be honest, seeing the differences in McDonald's, 7-Eleven, these kind of things in different countries, because you will find a different range of products. For example, obviously McDonald's Indonesia, there's no pork bender, do you know what I mean? McDonald's Taiwan, there's barely even any beef, it's mostly chicken. Seriously, there's a fried chicken burgers. I think you get the Big Mac, because they got to sell the Big Mac, right? But then you jump across to Hong Kong, you got a lot. You got double quarter pounders and everything. So yeah, and 7-Eleven, as I say, 7-Eleven in Thailand has got everything, man. Toasted sandwiches, pizza slices. Oh, it's fantastic. 7-Eleven here, it's fucking shit. There's like no snacks in there. And the drink range as well, another awesome thing. 7-Eleven Thailand, chocolate milkshake on tap. Oh, it's lovely. Not here. So I might do a video about that, but that is a bit of a stupid thing to do a video about, so maybe this monologue will suffice. Anyway, we're getting deeper into Georgetown. It's not particularly getting any more interesting, but as I say, the action will kick off when I get a bowl of curry in front of me. I had one last night actually. I had an Indian curry, Northern Indian cuisine it said, so of course I ordered the Kashmiri. Was it a fucking Kashmiri? My ass, was it a Kashmiri? Another generic curry. They threw a few dates in there or something to make it more kind of Kashmir-esque, but it weren't very good, you know. I asked them, are you from Kashmir? They said no, they're Bangladeshi, and there was an African guy working there as well. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Alright, this is interesting. Starting to get tangible changes in the demographics around here. Can you tell what it is yet? Like you down the road down there, there's all Chinese signage. Coming up here, the Chinese are starting to disappear, and you're starting to get everything just written in Bahasa Malay, and a lot more usage of like Arabic and even maybe something like Sanskrit script. I don't know. And you're seeing from the kids around, everyone's in the jilbab, you know. Oh right, there are Chinese kids here, it is still mixed, but there's a lot more Indians coming now, or Bangladeshi or whatever, and obviously a lot more Malay people. So we are starting to see different areas for different ethnic groups. You know, not entirely segregated. As I say, there were Chinese kids there. But certainly in terms of the signage and all that, I'm not seeing anything written in Chinese anymore. But you know, that's the same anywhere, isn't it? You've got largely Chinese areas in London, right? Largely Caribbean areas in London, you know. It used to be largely Irish areas in London. Where I live in London used to be, you know, an Irish ghetto. Now it's like an Ethiopian ghetto. Australia, Sydney, you've got massive Korean areas, you know. USA, I'm sure, is the same. I haven't spent enough time there. So communities do tend to group together around the world. That's quite understandable. And quite normal, quite usual, quite very common. But this is interesting to see it almost kind of segue from one group to the next along the course of this road. Oh, but look, we're back again to a Chinese school now. There's no real substance in the things I say sometimes, you know. I just want to talk, because if I just walk along showing you the road, that's going to be a bit shit, isn't it? Well, I'm almost out of Georgetown now. I've literally almost walked out of Georgetown. This is a fucking thing about a lot of Asian cities. The roads, you can't just, I'm thinking, oh, so at some point I'm going to turn right and I'm going to go back into the city centre, and there has not been a single fucking opportunity to do that. Or maybe if I'd gone through some like kampung or something, yeah, the poor people's village or something like that. If I'd walked through the middle of that, you might be able to do it, but I'd seriously run the risk of getting lost if I start doing things like that. I mean, I know I'm just need to go back that way. I'm actually trying to veer closer and closer towards Penang Hill, right, which for me is the most attractive proposition on the island at the moment. So I wouldn't mind getting a little bit closer to that and checking that out. I'm not going to go up it because I am saving my energy up for Sumatra. I'm this close to booking a flight to Sumatra, and I tell you what, when I get there, you're going to be fucking impressed. So I'm conserving my energy for that at the moment. Nothing like a drink in a plastic bag. Just bought that on the side of the road. 120 ringgit. So, you know, I'm still going ringgit to baht to pound, which is an unreliable conversion because the direct conversion could very well be different. But for argument's sake, let's say 10 baht is 1 ringgit. So, you know, 20 pence for a bag of pop. Just what you need on a hot day like this, and it's bloody hot, I tell you. Hotter here, I think, than it is in Thailand. Now, anyway, I've enjoyed a little drink and a rest at this little rest stop in a Chinese cemetery at the foot of what I believe to be Penang Hill, but it might just be a hill in Penang, not the Penang Hill. Because there's a whole mountain range basically now beginning, which goes across the middle of the island, and on the west side is I guess you're going to find some beaches or something out there, because apparently the beaches here around the town are no good for swimming in. Yeah, anyway, Chinese cemetery, always really a fascinating place. I just want to, you know, the place where I was sitting, this is probably set up by a family of somebody who resides here. There's an important day in Chinese culture called Qingmingjie. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but something like that. It means tomb sweeping day, and the families get together once a year and, you know, clean up the tombs of their ancestors. Let's have a little look at the cemetery, because it really is fascinating the way that the Chinese bury the dead. I think they cremate in China, So these are actually just shrines, you know, there's actually not bodies buried here. I might be mistaken about that, but I think they cremate. So regardless, these are all shrines to the dearly departed. A lovely location, and this is typical of the Chinese to bury the dead in hills, basically. There's just some amazing places in Taiwan. You can go right up into the mountains, sort of thing, and find all these kind of memorials, and it just really is a spectacular place to visit. You know, this is the outskirts of Georgetown here, so I'm not sure if it is even Georgetown. I might have left Georgetown by now, but I think we're still in it. This is like the suburbia of Georgetown. You see these high-rise blocks. Everyone's, you know, got their washing hanging out over the balconies. This is obviously quite a quite an impoverished area, but the cemetery, certainly not. I mean, there's some serious money spent on these kind of shrines. I mean, it seems strange to me. It's not something that I cremated my father because I believe that is the best way, you know, ashes to ashes, so to speak, dust to dust, send him back to the back to the elements where he came from. That's my belief anyway, and so I wouldn't go in for all this. There are a couple of little shrines in existence to my father, one in Thailand now and one in my hometown at my auntie's house. So but they're all sort of natural locations, and there's no sort of official headstone or anything. That's what's right for me. But you know, whatever's right for you is right. Now I've come all the way back over here. I came in up here and I'm going to walk out down there, but I just wanted to see if we could catch these cows all hanging around, because the cows actually walk through the cemetery, and there was a lot of them just in the middle here when I came down, but they're right up there now. But anyway, foot of a mountain, cows, loads of pretty memorials, and a beautiful set of clouds today, juxtaposed with the low-cost housing, you know, and it is exactly this kind of juxtaposition of elements that makes me happy just to walk around all day long in this part of the world. So, hope that was a semi-interesting little video for you. More than enough of that, I think. See you next time.